This is saying the number one position on Google on average has around 35,000 backlinks. Morning, everybody. Rise and shine. Beautiful Monday morning. Thank you so much for joining us. We have an action-packed week, actually. Today, tomorrow, probably Wednesday, so probably about 3 days of content is going to be dedicated to backlinks. Backlinks are the lifeblood of our traffic. Without backlinks, we don't stand a chance against our competitors, and vice versa. So we're going to dig into everything that is a backlink today. These backlinks are critical, and we're going to explain why they're critical right about now. Let's just start from the beginning. Moz tells us that a backlink is a link that's created when one website links to another. You can also call them inbound links or incoming links. And there's a huge history of how Google specifically has used backlinks for ranking in the search engine results page. But realize that a backlink or an inbound link is a huge sign to Google that your website is worthy of being ranked. Right now, I'm sure the gift jack has 0 backlinks because nobody knows who we are. So the more backlinks that you can get, the more trust that you have within Google, assuming they are good backlinks. If you get good backlinks from trusted sources, it's going to help you tremendously in ranking. To what extent? That's unknown because there's no definitive formula from Google that says you will rank in the number one position if you do XYZ. All right. So a lot of this is conjecture, but it's 20 years of conjecture from SEOs. And this only matters after you've written content. The reason why this hasn't even come up until month into the stream, give or take, is because we didn't have content to worry about. Now we have content. We want to keep developing content, but we need to start thinking about a strategy where we get backlinks. All right, so a quick nugget about SEO or search engine optimization. There's 2 phases of it. There's what's called on-site SEO and there's what's called off-site SEO. Can you guess what we've done on-site at the gift jack over the last 2 weeks that would be considered on-site SEO? The answer to that would be 1, writing content. Second would be all that work we did with the SEO title tags, the SEO descriptions. Those are the headlines and descriptions that show up within Google when somebody does a search. We also made a pretty nice website, right? It's fast. It's got a nice theme. It has a nice look. You could consider those things on site as well because those keep people engaged in your content. And those are all going to be ranking factors for Google. Google does not want to see people leave your website without getting what they want. The other piece to that is called off-site SEO though. And that is the work that's done outside of WordPress, outside of anything you're going to do within your website. And so you can consider these backlinks, obtaining them as part of offsite SEO. Now, I will say you are not supposed to engage in any link building, but everybody is doing it. But Google does not want to see people go out and try and do deals, basically, to trade backlinks. Most of the link building these days comes within guest posts. So if you see a guest post on a website, it's generally because they're doing like a tit for tat, right? And what you don't want is to get backlinks for spammy websites. Google has gotten better at detecting what those are. We got to think of this as, do we think this is a business that we can scale long term? Can we turn this into passive income? If you're looking for a one-hit wonder, you're probably not going to get a lot of value out of MattyAds. Like there's quote unquote black hat techniques that you can go and try those gimmicks. I would say power laws there are definitely in place. I think it's even worse. I bet 1 out of 100 are successful with that kind of stuff. All right, the other piece to this, and this starts getting a little bit more technical. So let's say the New York Times wrote an article and said, hey, this is the best 10 gift guide websites on the internet. And at number 5, they put the gift jack. And then they put a link that somebody could click to us. That would be awesome, right? Well, they could do what's called a no follow link. And that just tells Google, hey, there's a link here that goes to the gift jack, but we don't want you to follow it. No follow links provide much less value than a regular link that is followed. But there are also industries that get you more link equity. One of those is from a .gov website or a .edu website. So those just have higher trust factors within Google. So anchor text is effectively, do you see how this blue text is a link out? Let's assume that it went to the gift jack. Page authority really has nothing to do with my website, but this is what is the anchor text, right? Google would read this and see, oh, they linked out to the gift jack and the anchor text to this says page authority. So Google would then try and think, well, how does the gift yak relate to the word page authority? Most anchor text says something like click here, or it has the brand name in it. What do you think the best anchor text that Moz could link out to me with? It's probably something that says like, check out their gift guides or see the best gift guides. Something like that conveys value back to Google and says, oh, this anchor text makes a lot of sense with what the gift yak does. So here's an interesting graph. This is saying the number one position on Google on average has around 35,000 backlinks. And so it's hard to overtake a big profile like that, right? If they got 35,000 and we got 0, how do we do it? Well, that's why we initially did keyword research to target really low competitive keywords. That's how we're going to do it. Another phrase that will probably pop up when you get a backlink from a really trusted website like the New York Times, it's going to have higher domain authority. These are just terms that are there to capture the essence of what Google is doing. All right, so we talked a little bit about anchor text. And just as a note, if you're thinking, well, maybe I could hack the system and try and get as many keywords in our anchor text as possible, don't worry. People already tried that 10, 15 years ago. Google changed their algorithm with something called the Penguin update, and they basically penalized anybody who was getting all of their backlinks with anchor text that had the exact keyword. Here's a good point. Industries matter. Topical or contextual links matter. If Pfizer linked back to the gift yak in one of their articles about some medicine, topically, that makes no sense. And so Google also understands that. And so there's going to be less value that's transmitted to the gift yak versus if it was the Wirecutter or moms.com, right? And they were linking back to one of my gift guides for moms because that makes sense. You can see the link. And here's another great point that we haven't talked about. So this is basically saying having unique websites backlink to you is more important than getting links from the same website. So there's no exact science to this, but just know that the fall off is dramatic. And so if I was quote unquote link building, I wouldn't want to get 20 links from the New York Times. I would rather get one and then 19 from 19 different websites that are just as popular as the New York Times. That would add more value to my backlink profile than having 20 links from the New York Times. Interesting. So you might be asking yourself, well, how do you check what backlinks you have? We use a tool called Ahrefs, which is a paid tool. And then there's other products you can use. SEMrush is a famous one, but a free one that you can look at is within Google Search Console. You can click this link tab once you're in it, and it will give you data about your organic search traffic, overall performance, and then the external links. Basically, who is linking back to your website? And then you can rank those. So we're going to look at a couple of ways to think about generating backlinks. So here is a best practice for how you can acquire backlinks without any tricks. What they're talking about here is called a linkable asset. So think about a blog post, a video, software, quiz, survey, anything that people will want to link. Now, I think there are some really great examples of how you can hack this. All right. A blog article is one way, but the reality is everybody's got their own blog articles. You might use it for reference, but it's not something that's going to like capture the hearts and minds of people. So a huge business is revolving around mortgages. Now, what did LendingTree, one of the biggest players in the mortgage space, do? Well, they built a calculator. So if you're in the market for getting a mortgage and you need to think about how much your monthly payment will be based on your factors or your criteria, you might type in mortgage calculator. And guess what? You're going to land on this page and you're going to be able to calculate your payment. They're going to put you to this page. You're going to calculate your payment with all these factors. This is engaging, linkable content. And my guess is that this is linked to tens of thousands of other websites all over the internet. Now, LendingTree is not making money from this page. LendingTree built a linkable asset that is really for your benefit if you're looking for a mortgage. And so you can think about what might work in your industry or your niche to generate buzz. You might not make any real dollars from it, but it will drive backlinks. If you get 10,000 backlinks because you made a calculator, guess what's going to happen to your other articles that are making you money or your money articles? They're going to shoot through the roof because you just got 10,000 backlinks from really trusted sources that go to your calculator page. So think of how you can build assets like this creatively, right? What hasn't anybody done in your industry or your niche that is really important in your eyes? All right. Here's another kind of basic tactic, what he is calling a link roundup. So there are content creators out there whose sole purpose is to aggregate other people's content and generate a list. It's somewhere between what we do, right, by building gift lists, and somewhere between what like news organizations do when they report on the news. They're basically doing a top 10 list of really great articles in the last month or week for their industry. So here's an example. The monthly roundup, 10 things that happened in digital marketing in February. Sounds a little bit like our article, right? The 10 best Valentine's gifts for mom. But instead what they're doing is they're taking other industry leaders in digital marketing and they're just linking to their article. And they're saying, hey, we read this article and you know what? It was really great. Why don't you go check out this article from Brian Dean at backlinko.com, right? Because they have a user base that wants to see that. They want somebody to curate that information for them. And so these roundups are important because these guys are looking for new content. They're looking for the new GIF yaks of the world. They're not going to find us unless we reach out to them. You go out and find some of those roundups in your niche. You can literally type in your keyword and then add plus link roundup into Google to find some of them. And then you just go out and send them an email and you say, hey guys, I exist. Look at this article I just wrote. I think it would be great for this roundup series that you're doing about gifting. Realize that you're not going to hit 100% on those. Like you're probably going to be somewhere between 1 and 3% conversion rates, unless you're a big brand. But like if I was to reach out to 100 businesses that were doing this and say, hey guys, love to be included in your next month's roundup. My guess is I get 1 to 3 out of those 100 that want to include me. So there's a lot of manual effort that goes into this. But if you're building from zero, what we're doing, and just trying to get to 1, 0 to 1 is huge. So I think this is a good kind of pausing point. We'll go into some more of these advanced methods tomorrow. So I want to show you how I'm ranking in Google right now before we close up. So this is the GIFYAK search console. We're early here. Let me just put it that way. But I wanted to show you, we have only 29 impressions or eyeballs on our website so far, but you can see it's starting to move upwards. But look at this. We can see already that we're starting to show up for some of these keywords that we were targeting with our articles. So what do you see here? Well, I see a lot of Reddit keywords. What did we write? Well, let's go back to our website here. One of our first articles was this one, 47 most popular Reddit gift ideas. Google is starting to rank us there in the 20s, let's call it. We're somewhere between page 2 and page 3 on these terms. And that's okay. Listen, we're not going to get much traffic being there, but it's a really promising sign. Like that got posted a week ago. This is a new website. That's awesome. Like we are already ranking on Google. Generally takes like 6 months before you really start seeing any of these things pop up. So we're starting to see good early signs. We have no backlinks and the world is our oyster at this point. We also see that we're ranking for Star Wars gift ideas and Valentine's gifts for toddlers. So we're not ranking as well for those, right? We're in the 60s and 80s there, but that's okay. Google is just kind of testing the waters with us. This is going to be a process. We're not going to have overnight success. You will probably not have overnight success either. It's going to be day in, day out, just doing the work. So this is awesome. I can't wait to share more results here. Obviously, we're early when it comes to that, but I am more than excited to show you how that turns out over the next month, 2 months, 3 months, etc. We're going to continue building content and we'll start getting our hat in the ring on some paid advertising as well. But it's good to know that we're starting to rank early. That growth that we're going to see is going to come from backlink, all right, which is why we're starting to really focus on that. So today we talked about the basics of backlinks. Tomorrow we'll go into some more of the advanced features. And then the third video that we'll do will be really focused on our competitors and how we can utilize what they're doing in favor of us. So tomorrow morning we'll be back 8 a.m. to kick it off with round 2 of backlinks. So thank you so much for tuning in. Appreciate y'all guys. Go ahead and hit that follow, like, subscribe button and whatever it is. And we will see you bright and early tomorrow morning. Thank you so much.